Good morning. I hope you're well. So, I didn't write a post about the fiasco the other night because I didn't want to talk about it anymore. I had talked about it, so it was done. So, yesterday, um, I was thinking about friendship and what friendship is and how friendship changes over the course of your life and how, friendships are different when you're a child and as you mature and as you grow older and as you get experience in the world, how things kind of go. And so I felt really empowered by spirit to talk about friendship because I think that a lot of us struggle with friendships and what is a true friendship and what is a good friendship. And friendship is one of the blessings of spirit, right? It's one of the things that happen as a result of divine love. And there's a difference between like true friendship, acquaintances, things like that. Like you all know this, so I'm not telling you anything new. But really how to safeguard your heart, but also, be a good friend, right? So you can't control how people necessarily treat you, right? You can guide them, right? Anybody who's a parent knows that, or if you have a partner or spouse or whatever, like you can guide behavior, but at the end of the day, people make their own choices. So you really can't worry about their choices and how they behave. What you can worry about is your behavior and how you behave and the kind of friend that you are and then the kind of people that you let into your life. So, like I've said before, if you think about a table, is it easier to pull people up onto the table or is it easier for them to pull you down? People who pull you down are negative energy and you don't need that in your life and in your core who those people are. So I'm not going to belabor the point. You know who they are. But who are friends? So, as a kid, your friends tend to be the people that you grow up with in your neighborhood or the people that you go to school with, or, people that you are in clubs with or sports or band or whatever. That's like the pool you get to choose from, when you're growing up. And then as you get older, as your hobbies expand and you go into the work world, you get to, you meet people and you can maybe make friends within, those spaces as well. So, you know, um, growing up, in the west side of Bethlehem, which was a steelworker town and a steelworker neighborhood, I didn't make friends very easily as a child. Most of the time, mostly because I cried all the time. Kids called me Baby Beth. I cried all the time. And little kids are cruel, right? But the reason that I cried all the time, I mean, I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. My mother was an alcoholic at the time. And, looking back, knocking at 50, looking back, my brother drowned when he was 8, right before I was born. And he had hit his head on a sliding board. And the kids with him told the lifeguard, but the lifeguard didn't believe them. So my brother was dead. And so, um, as a mother, I really don't know what I would do, knock wood, if something happened to my kids, right? So I have no judgment as an adult looking back. Like, I don't know how I would have handled something like that. So there's no judgment there for her being an alcoholic. But um, the, we were feral. Like, we just were feral. Like, my brothers and I, like, we were not watched too closely. So, like, excuse me, I electrocuted myself when I was 4. Back in the olden days, Padawan, they didn't have 3 prongs, and they had 2 prongs, and they came out of this, like, little square chocolate-looking thing, which I thought was chocolate, and so I bit into it, and I electrocuted myself, so I had to have plastic surgery on my face, and you don't see the scar on the outside, but on the inside I have a scar that goes all the way up my mouth and up to my ear. So, I was just a weird kid. Like, my dad was really old-fashioned. Like, he would make us wear galoshes, which he called rubbers, which I'm like, how does my dad not know that that's not what rubbers are? Like, how did he not know that? So, we were just weird. Like, we were backwards. We were like, sort of like hick kids. And we got made fun of a lot. We were weird and different. Um, and I didn't talk. I cried, but I didn't talk. So, at school, I hated school. mostly because people made fun of me at school and I didn't like it. And so I didn't like school, and so I wouldn't participate in school. So like I wouldn't read, when the teachers told me to read, I wouldn't do it. So they thought I couldn't read. So when I was in the first grade, they were going to hold me back because they thought I couldn't read. And my mom's like, that's nonsense. This kid reads all the time. I used to sit in my closet and read to my stuffies. I didn't have dolls because my brother would destroy them. So I had like little stuffies that I would read to. And when I was little, I read Valley of the Dolls to my stuffies. I had no idea what any of the words meant. No idea that it was an adult book. No clue. It was just like in my mom's side table on her bed at her bedside. So like I was reading that to my dolls or my stuffies. And so my mom took one of those old fashioned like gray recorders and like recorded me reading to my dolls and marched into the principal's office and said she can read. So they passed me. But I definitely had social skills. I had social skill problems. I had to go to summer school for social skills kind of stuff. And you know, as a parent looking back, I mean, I could just guess that the social skills problems, were tied largely to my mom's drinking, and my father worked shift work at the steel, so he wasn't home. And so I have moved on. I don't hold any of that stuff against anybody. So I didn't really make friends easily as a child. And I had one friend, and she had a last name that started with the same two letters as me. She was super quiet, and we just have been friends since we're four. We were in Brownies together. We went to high school together. Like we had different interests. Like I was in I played the bagpipes, and she didn't play a musical instrument. But we just have always gotten along, and she is like a sister to me. So, I didn't have sisters growing up, so. She also didn't have sisters. She had a lot of brothers. So, we just, like she is a person I consider family, and I would do for her the way I would do for my brother. I had another friend in high school, who I'm still very close to, and my best friend from high school. She has moved on to another state. I had moved on first to another state. But if she would call me in the middle of the night and say, I need you to come, get on a plane, get here, I'd get here. I consider her a sister also. So I've had these two friends and a close friend in college, who, I'm still friends with, but kind of a person that I went around with in college. Um, so I kind of have, a few really, really close friends. And because I grew up with brothers and because I was around all boys, I tend to make friendships with boys or guys, boys, men, um, uh, easier than with women because I didn't wear makeup. I never had the cool clothes. In high school, I was more of like the Annie Hall. That was kind of my style. More punk red, purple hair. I was always weird. Like I've always been weird. And when you're in public school, being weird isn't always like a great advantage or a thing that people compliment you on. They make fun of you. As you get older and you're weird, people are like, oh, look how cool. She's weird. That's awesome. So, you know, I think over the course of time, you decide who you want your friends to be, and you decide what kind of friend you're going to be, right? Like I said, you can't really control the behavior of other people, but you can control your own behavior, and you can control the kinds of people that come into your life. And so I was led to talk about this because yesterday, I had the bad day. And then yesterday, I had a great day, and a new friend came up that I met through hiking, and she and I just really like have a lot of similar interests. Like we kind of we don't agree on everything, but we definitely can talk about things and not agree. We did get in an argument on the trail because we were both exhausted and sore and horrible, and it lasted 2 seconds and then it went away, which is exactly how I deal with all frustration. It kind of comes and goes, and then it's done. So so I was like thinking, Spirit kind of really called me to talk about friendship, and maybe this message will help people who are I'm knocking on 50, and it's harder, I think, to make friends as you grow older, but I think the friends that you make are better friends than the kinds of like the pool you got to pick from as a child. Although, my friends that I picked as a child, I liked very much. So, um, simultaneously to my friend coming up, Dave's best friend from when he was 4 has come up. And, guys are different about friends. Like, they can go forever, not see each other, and then all of a sudden, like, they hang out again and they're fine. So, but I was thinking after they both left, like, how blessed I was and how thankful I was, that I'm, in a place in my life where I can sort of sort the kinds of people that I want in my inner circle. And I'm very friendly. I get along with a lot of people. I see a lot of people every day. I meet people with my job, and I meet people from Red Cross, and I meet people from Girl Scouts, and I meet people from hiking. And so I have a lot of these like great acquaintances and great people that are just awesome people that I get to spend time with. But a true friend, the kind of friend that like I call them a shovel friend, right? So part of this is because I'm Celtic and we're extremely loyal. But like if my brother or my cousin Eric or whatever calls me in the middle of the night and says, Beth, bring the shovel, bring the lime, chances are I'm going, right? Like, and no questions asked. They are family, and that is the Celtic way. We are there for our family. And just for the record, and for, the FBI and NSA and whomever else, that has never happened, right? But, like, we're very loyal to our family. And in the Celtic tradition, I don't know if that's how it is everywhere, but for my family, my brother can call me anytime, day or night, and I will be there to help him. My nieces call me anytime, day or night. I will go pick them up in Alabama. If they are stuck there, I will go. That is family. I will do that. And so the shovel principle is if you're a friend that I'd be willing to do that for. So the friend that I grew up with since 4, my friend that has moved to, I have 2 friends that have moved to Arizona that I would do that for. There's a fellow that I met at work in New Jersey and works with me now. I do that for him. But the number of people for whom I would drop everything and go, that's smaller. And so it's supposed to be like I couldn't sustain that for everybody that I know. Um, you know, so I think that I try to be a loyal friend. I'm not a phone person, as I've said, and I'm not a texter, but I am a person who will check in on people and be like, hey, how you doing? I will pay attention to things. I'm terrible with birthdays. Birthdays, anniversaries, dates, things with dates. I suck. But I will, but it doesn't mean that I don't wish people well. It's just that I'm not a dates person. But if I would, my friends know, I think, that they can rely on me to be there for them, whatever they need. So as we grow older and we meet people and we decide who to let into the inner circle, we have to be very careful because, people can drain you. There's one instance of a person who was a hiker that I really thought we were really close friends. And really at the end of the day, he was just using me. And so, I was blinded by that. And, I tried to help him with everything. I was trying to help him live his best life, and he wasn't helping himself. So, we had to part ways, and I wish him the best. But once you get to the end of my rope, that's it. You're done. And so he has reached the end of my rope, and he is done. There have been other people who have come into my life who I thought, oh, like I really, this is a person that I would really do anything for and help. And that it didn't work out because, they didn't care. Like I was definitely a better friend than they wanted to be with me. So I think about it in terms of a chapter book of your life, right? There are people who are meant to be part of the whole story, beginning to end. These are people who are in your life for the entire book. And then there are people who are in your story for a chapter or two, maybe part of a chapter, maybe a few chapters. But they're not in your whole story forever. And the thing about that is that you both have to make the choice to be in each other's story. Like if I want a person to be in my story for my, like from here on out, from here to the end of the book, you're going to be a part of my story. That relies on that person wanting to be in your story for that time. And unfortunately, that isn't always the case. And sometimes you don't know that they don't want to be in your story. They don't tell you, right? And you have to kind of figure it out. And that's where hurt comes from. And so, it's important to recognize the signs, I think, of like you're on a different plane of expectation, or you're on a different plane of what you want at the end of the day. Um, because then somebody's going to get hurt, and most likely it's going to be you. Or at least in my case, it's always me that gets hurt, because I thought this was a friend, like this was this kind of friend, and it turned out that, I was just entertainment for for a few months, and I thought there was more there, and clearly there wasn't. And I'm not always the quickest on social clues, right? So I didn't, I don't always notice right away. So, but the key is to not let those situations burn you out for other situations, right? So I have this new friend that I met through hiking. We have a lot in common. We've gone on vacation together. We have a similar hiking style, so I like to hike with her. And I was just so grateful. And I was like, praying, and I was like so thankful that God had put her into my life, because it's hard to make friends when you're older. And so and I've met really great people in my hiking group, that are just really, really great, and that I enjoy hiking with. I enjoy doing things with, and so I'm just very thankful that that God has put people into my life, to make my life richer. And then, from that really great crop of people, then there are people that I'm closer to. So, um, you know, friendship is not about being a doormat, and friendship is not about you giving everything and you receiving nothing, right? Like, I'm not a gift person, or, I certainly don't ever ask my friends for money or anything like that. It's about being a person who uplifts another person, right? And some person that you enjoy being with, and that when you're together you get to, have some good laughs, or even a good cry, or whatever it is that you need. But that person is your person, right? And that person is part of your story. So you can't help the people who don't want to be part of your story. As much as you want them to be, as much as you try to make them be, if they don't want to be part of your story, they don't want to be part of your story. And you can figure out all the good ways, or all the ways they should want to be in your story, but it still isn't going to change it. They're not going to be part of your story. So the quicker you learn that, and the quicker you accept it, the quicker you can move on. So it's heartbreaking, and you take that little scar with you, and you learn probably a little bit better the next time. Um, that's the way it goes. So Spirit just like led me to talk about this today, because I was feeling very lonely in the middle of my sort of breakdown in the bathroom at the restaurant. I was like feeling very alone, and then yesterday I was reminded that I'm not alone. I am surrounded by great people. I'm surrounded by 150 hikers a year in my yard, who are great people. I'm surrounded by great people in my community. I'm surrounded by great people in all the different spaces that I operate. And for the one or two people who I really wanted to be part of my story, that have said, like, I don't want to be part of your story, like, like, let them go. Let them go. Like, they don't, um, it's on them. They clearly had, their own plan or whatever. And, let it go. So, I don't know where you are in your life with your friends, if you're feeling lonely, or if you're feeling that you don't have any friends. You do. Just kind of like take some time, meditate, and like think about the people in your life. And if you have friends that are using you, they're not friends. If you have people in your life who are draining you, they're not friends. If you have people in your life who ignore you and only come around when they want something, they're not friends. If you have people that you're spending, 100% energy trying to get them to be part of your story, and they're just not responding at all, let them go. They're not your friends. They're not people who want to be, they don't want you in their story, or they want you to play, a role that you shouldn't be playing as a friend in their story. So, like, it's kind of like spring cleaning, right? I've been spring cleaning. I've been going through clothes and getting rid of a whole bunch of clothes I don't need. get rid of the things that don't bring you joy. Get rid of the people in your life that, and sometimes that could be family, right? That could be family. I'm fortunate that it's not my family. Like I don't have much of my family left. I have my brother and cousins and stuff. So I like everybody in my family. We don't agree on everything. I'm the tree hugger of the group. They're all very, very conservative. I'm more of a libertarian. We don't agree on everything, and they're very political. I'm not as political as they are. And but I love them, and I would do anything for them. If they called me in the middle of the night, I would be there for them. So you know, you only get one pass through this physical life. So surround yourself with people that bring you joy, and allow you to be the best that you can be, and don't worry about who you used to be. Like my mom was an alcoholic, but then she recovered, and then she made really good friends, and she filled her life with good things after that. So you can always move on. You can always change. You can always do it better tomorrow. So you know, be the kind of person that people want to be around, and surround yourself with people that uplift you, and that you're on top of the table with. And then be honest about the people who are dragging you down. So that's my talk for today. I will see you tomorrow.